In the face of adversity, the human spirit reveals its greatest strength. In this inspiring conversation, India's foremost para-athlete, Deepa Malik, joins Boria Majumdar to share her journey of determination and resilience, drawing from her memoir, Bring It On.
Hello and welcome to this World Book Day special. And with me, somebody who I call family. Who I call family, someone I've known for more than a decade. I've celebrated. She's a friend of mine, and obviously I've celebrated her journey. She continues to inspire. And today we are talking about Bring It On. Bring It On, the story of Deepa Malik. Deepa ji, welcome. Firstly, you're looking dapper. You're looking
Thank
absolutely
you.
dapper. Couldn't have been
And
better.
that's Bring
There
It
it is.
On for
Bring it
you.
on. Bring it
Bring
on.
it
But
on.
it is a travesty that Deepa Malik has till date not sent me a signed copy of the book. It will be part of this recording. I'm putting it on
Oh
record.
my God. Yes, I'm just waiting for this special World Book Day.
Ah,
And let me tell you, Boria sir, you have been an instrumental in pushing me, in telling me that I must write a book. I remember the first conversation I had with you, an interview where you said that I still remember 140 crore Indians and one Deepa Malik.
absolutely. And I always say this, at some point, we will not be able to do what we are doing now. We will also kind of move on. This book stays. The book stays that anything and everything is possible. It is not wheelchair bound, it is wheelchair liberated. Your words, but
Yes.
words that resonate with me when I read Bring It On. And by the way, I do have a copy of the book. My publishers, Deepaji's publishers, mine as well, they were kind enough to send it to me, and we've read it. Both of us, we've continued to be a part of the journey. But Deepaji, first question. First
Yes.
question. You've called it Bring It On. Why Bring It On?
Why bring it on? Because the challenges won't end at any stage, and that's the message I want to give through the book. That life is nothing but a stream of challenges which you have to continuously accept, embrace, continuously devise your solutions rather than harping about the problems, and be absolutely prepared, because what is permanent is change, and change is obviously disrupts you, it shakes you, it challenges you, uh, it puts you off your off your feet, and it makes you think. And in my case, my challenges have been of various kinds, whether emotional, physical, through my journey, through my daughter's disability journey, through setting on a journey by becoming. So when people say you're the first biker, you're the first rallist, you're the first swimmer in paraplegia in India, first definitely has a series of challenges, whether it was trying to drive again, to ride a bike again, to be a swimmer again, whether it was policies, permissions, infrastructure, transportation, funding, every every step of the movement there was a challenge. And then I said, all right, bring it on. And it still continues to be there, because when I transited from being an achiever in my para athlete's journey, and when I turned to administration, it was a different kind of a challenge. uh, you know uh, a woman in leadership role for the first time, a para athlete had become a president of the federation. Now I have moved on to an international role, which again is challenge. So every time there is a challenge. So that's why I say bring it on, because I'm ready to embrace any
Nice,
disruption.
nice. You call yourself wheelchair liberated and not wheelchair bound. I found it absolutely fascinating. Elaborate on this and elaborate on the concept.
Everyone who addressed me or talked about me post my paralysis, when I was celebrating being alive, because it was a choice between life and death. Post surgery, I was happy to stay alive, and I am now completing 25 years. This is the silver jubilee year of my paralysis, and of course my phoenix life, which I call my rebirth. And I'm so happy that I could live to see 25 years where doctors were not even sure it'll be 2 or 3, or maybe the tumor infections will come back. I was happy sitting on a wheelchair because it was giving me mobility, it was giving me movement. But the term, which is a generic term that is used for persons on wheelchair, are used wheelchair bound. And I often say that a chair that has wheels, human civilization progressed when wheel was invented. Our national flag has a wheel as a symbol of progress, movement going forward. Our national emblem has a wheel, which again is symbolizing progress. Then how can someone sitting on wheels be called bound, whereas wheel is nothing but a mobility, and it gives me mobility, it gives me movement. So I think calling myself wheelchair liberated was because sitting on my wheelchair, which I very lovingly call wheelchair, I had gone on to uh, achieve something which was value addition, not to just my life, but also it changed the narrative about a woman in disability and a woman in disability sports in my country. Then how can I be bound? I'm a liberated person who's totally empowered.
Excellent. Absolutely. At the core of it is, empowerment, equality, sensitivity, and the entire discourse that you stand for about power and how everything and anything is possible. Again, bring it on. But Deepaji, the memoir also deals with your battles, say with spinal tumor, societal challenges, multiple of them, and both of us know it. Your operation, thereafter X number of days in coma, 183 stitches, 41 days in coma, then fast forward to Rio. But which of these challenges, if I ask you to identify one, Deepaji, is the spinal tumor, societal challenges, which one was the most difficult to deal with, and how did you overcome it?
More than me, I think it was the societal challenges. Um, Everybody was judging me from a very stereotypical lens. Um, what was my bargain with life was known to me. What was making me happy was known to me. But just because I did not walk, people took it for granted that I'm going to be a person who live in a very sad state of mind. Somebody who will always be dependent, somebody who will never be able to celebrate a festival called life. And and I think that bothered me more than my own body challenges of not having a bladder bowel control or struggling with my daughter's rehabilitation. Um, we both, because the accident that my daughter was in as a tiny little 14-month-old girl was again very, it could have been fatal. I could have lost her in that. But here she was alive with weakness on the left side of her body. I could have died on the operation table, or eventually died with the spread of the infections into the brain stem and various organs of my life. But thankfully, the tumor was removed and all the infection was taken away, and I survived. So for me, living, being alive with my daughters, breathing on this planet, and learning the new body was happiness. But people took it for granted that I can't be happy, my marriage will not work. If anybody is keeping me, it is only out of sympathy. Um, so I was kind of losing my identity.
This is the point. This whole sympathy versus empathy debate. I mean, I've been, you know me. I mean, I've been shouting from the rooftop for the longest time,
Yeah.
advocating empowerment, and whatever little role I've been able to play. Not simply me, since Rev Sports was born. I think we've been able to make a little difference to the whole movement.
No,
But
Boria, sir, I will say that the amount of interviews and awareness that you have spread through your portal, it's tremendous and immense. And as a para athlete and as an administrator both, I extend my gratitude to you.
no, it's our work, and this is an ongoing quest. You know it. In
Yes,
Paris, we had 6 of us covering the Paralympic
yes.
Games, and That's the quest, and it will remain anyway. Deepa Malik as mother, how did that kind of tell me about that? Deepa Malik as mother. Maybe I would have loved a little bit more on motherhood in the book. That kind of influenced your sport. You became a role model. It influenced your advocacy. Tell me about Deepa Malik as mother and the challenge.
Being Deepa Malik, if not had not been a mother, probably would not have been as courageous, as defiant, um, as bold, and as hungry for the change. Because as a mother in disability, I realized what tomorrow my daughter is going to face if the similar narrative around disability continues for a girl child. I had faced it as a child. I was paralyzed even in my childhood for 4 years. I saw disability again, and I saw disability in my daughter. And then my second born was a daughter. So this whole thing of being a mother of two daughters, out of which one is suffering with her own hemiplegic condition, and now I am also, chest below paralyzed. I wanted to see the change, and so I had to become the change. And this motherhood was the catapult effect in me, because I realized that in 20 years, which maybe 23 years, which was a gap between my childhood illness and my daughter's illness, and then again down a few more years, my illness again, no narrative had changed around disability. And it was high time that it had to change. So, and bringing up daughters, I really don't know whether they have brought me up or I have brought them up, because we were three women becoming each other's strength in the house. Um, we were compensating for each other's weaknesses and filling it up with each other's strengths. If so, that is how their childhood was, and it has been a blessing in disguise. It has made both my daughters very empathetic, very aware. They are two very responsible citizens who know how and what it means and what is the true definition of inclusion. Can't hear you, sir.
So exactly that. I mean, there is always this undercurrent of empowerment in the book, and in doing so, you confronted patriarchy. There are multiple instances you challenged the existing norms of patriarchy. You pushed them. You broke barriers. Give me one instance where that you remember that okay, the society threw this at you, and using Sachin Tendulkar's words, they threw a stone at me and I converted it into a milestone. In your case, you broke down every existing barrier of patriarchy. Tell me one story.
There were a lot of things which were clearly written, that when a woman is paralyzed, she'll be totally dependent on the man, whether it is for her financial dependence. In my case, it was not even financial dependence. I was called a financial liability. And that bothered me. So I decided to earn my own money. I was never educated to earn, because I was happy being an army wife. I had never seen anyone do business in my family, because the entire family comes from the defense background. And having been brought up in the safe environment of and a very closed environment of army cantonment areas, which are very self-sufficient, I had never dealt with any civil organizations. I had not really gone out and done any kind of filings and paperwork, permissions, because everything was so automated in the army as long as we were there. But when my husband left the army, and that accusation also came on me, that because the wife is paralyzed, he can't travel with her. So these were the things which bothered me, and I decided to earn my own money. And that is where I decided, and I started a small garden restaurant project with home delivery counter, then raising funds through my motorsports activities, becoming a motivational speaker, and then fighting for policies. And ensuring that at par cash awards comes in our accounts as well through the right policies. So this
100%.
financial independence, which I felt was a big challenge to patriarchy.
And thank God you did that, but now you've earned lots. So you enjoy every moment of it. More to you. You keep earning more. We will make sure that always continues. But Deepaji, so far I've focused on Deepa Malik, the person, mother, daughter, athlete. If I turn my focus, and the book talks about it in some detail as well, Deepa Malik, the administrator, the sports
Yes.
administrator.
Yes.
Think about it. London one medal, H.N. Girisha. Rio 4, yourself, Mariappan, Devendra, and Varun. Tokyo, all of a sudden, and I remember that conversation with you. You said we are making 15 gold chains. And then towards the end, you called and you were laughing. You couldn't stop. And I'm like, what happened to you? And you said, no, we're having to make 19 gold chains because the number of medals increased from 4 to 19. To preside over that transformation, now to theek hai, 19 has become 29, 29 will become 50. But that major jump happened between Rio and Tokyo when you presided over transformation and thereafter as president of the PCI. Tell me about your role as administrator.
Administration was a lot of learning. It was very sudden that I was chosen for that said role, and it came as a huge responsibility. I had also to take my federation through the COVID times, but I think that has been my nature to make the best of what we have. And at that point of time, even COVID came as a silver lining because it gave us a chance to teach information technology to the athletes and the communication through the information technology methods, through webinars. We were able to focus on translating things in simple spoken Hindi language because everything available on the internet was in English, and 90% of my athletes could not really benefit from whatever material was available. And what I could bring to the table as an administrator were things like easy communication, mutual trust, a time-bound response to every detail or every requirement of the athlete, and to continuously push the cause of athletes, whether it was in the target Olympic podium scheme, their requirements. We needed the right prosthetics, the right equipments, the right assistive aids, and also ensure the mental well-being of para athletes by giving them their right support staff. So these were a few things, because anything you do in sports has to be time bound. If you're not allowing them to take a competition, to qualify and push for their paperwork at the right time, to release their funds at the right time, to give them their supporting staff which supports them to win a competition. So these were a few things, because the person who wears, I mean, how you say that because I had already been there as an athlete, I knew where the shoe pinched. So, and also I think I could bring in bridge the gap between the government and the federation. The federation, when was given to me, was defunct. All the accounts were frozen. As a Paralympian medalist, somebody who had worked along with the government on the policy making, I could bring in the trust element, I guess, from both sides, from the government side and from the athlete side.
Final two questions, Deepaji, because I'm conscious of time. One,
yes,
haven't included in the book that you wanted to? Anything
Like,
that you haven't, anything that you haven't included in the book that you wanted to? Ki, chalo yaar, this should have been done more, because whenever I've written, and for example, Sachin's autobiography or my own stuff, at the end of it, when you take a break from it, you then realize, maybe this should have been there, but now it's done. Chalo, theek hai, second edition. Anything like that, that one story that you think could have made the book, but you haven't yet kind of included it?
I did want to include those beautiful moments post Rio, because the book mostly ends at me winning the medal. But actually, there was another set of challenges that started post the medal. Because money had come, how to manage money. I had no clue how to file ITRs. I had never seen this kind of finances, how to manage my finances. And then GST filings, how to choose where to speak, what platform, what brands to go to, how to again balance your time between all the media attention. Or how I took that time as my opportunity to create more awareness for para sports and
Basically, a
many other.
leadership book is what you've not written. What you've just
Yes,
told me in the last minute is basically a leadership lesson. ये करना चाहिए ये नहीं finance ऐसे manage करो ऐसे नहीं. So these are very important life lessons because I've
yes,
seen athletes just lose it. I've seen athletes lose their head. All of a sudden fame comes. Take a cricketer who's 22, 23, making 4 crore, 5, 6 crores from IPL, don't even have a clue how to manage, comes from underprivileged, and then a couple of years disappears from the radar. It is as difficult to maintain.
yes.
Gukesh, for example, told me that it is finding it much more harder to deal with success than earlier because obviously he's
That
18.
is exactly what I
That is
need
the
to tell.
challenge.
How
100%.
to reach the pedestal is easy. To balance yourself on the top is difficult. How do you retain your? And then there is a lot of shift in relationships post that. Some people are happy for you, some people are jealous of you, some people have envy. So till the time I had not won the medal, people were more sympathetic or empathetic. But having won the medal and reaching that pedestal, I felt it was like a litmus test of relationships. So that was also emotionally very heavy, and that's not been written yet.
Got it.
Um,
Final
yeah.
question. Final question. Again, the most interesting, most emotionally, how do I put it? The strongest part of the book is Rio. And Deepa Malik is defined by that, right? I mean, you have to be defined by the 4.61. Tell me one more time. I've heard this, what, 422 times? Tell me one more time. Take me back. You've written that beautifully, but that moment in Rio, Deepa Malik, 4.61, the tricolor going up for you. Maybe you were not standing up, but we were for you. You made us stand, you helped us stand, you made that possible. Take my readers back on World Book Day to that moment. That is the centerpiece of this book. I recommend all of you to read Bring It On
I
because
think
trust me,
probably
you will have tears. You will at the end of the day, you will say, I can do it. I can do it. That is the message that Deepa Malik leaves us with. Boss, it's possible. You want it, you dream for it, it's possible. Sachin Tendulkar's words, dreams do come true. Deepa Malik, take me back to Rio one final time.
Rio was a paradox. It was a roller coaster, and I think it just 15 days pre-Rio and post-Rio also justify the title Bring It On. Because I never knew that the thing's going to be so difficult. Reaching even Rio was such a challenge for me. To actually qualify, there was only one female slot, challenge in the court for that, fighting a court battle, and obviously being pulled down in the media. There's a lot of opinions coming your way. There's a lot of pressure. How at the last minute the entry was sent after winning the last day. Just one day was left for the entry. When I reach there, my luggage doesn't reach. My competition belts and competition chair doesn't reach. I don't even have my opening ceremony costume. The battle to get my luggage because the airlines kept saying we can compensate it with money. And we said money will not compensate. I need that chair. So that whole struggle, reaching out to the embassy, and I remember even tweeting to Sushma Swarajji, and she tweeting back, and finally getting on the last minute, getting all my outfits, belts, my proteins, which were all there in my luggage. And under that pressure and scanner playing, And it didn't even end post the result, because there was an appeal on the lady who was coming first. A lot of protest had come her way from 3 different countries. We were supposed to have a medal ceremony at 12 noon, which eventually happened at 6:30 in the evening. And those 6 hours, whether will it be gold, will it be silver? And we didn't even know who was protested against, because all we knew that the result has been protested. Once bitten, twice shy. I thought maybe again somebody's written something about me, because I've just battled in the high court and come. Those 6 hours were like a bring it on moment for me. Finally, the silver happened, and there was a sigh of relief. Um, but once that silver happened, and it happened proving my dignity, integrity, honesty, because for 4.48, I was taken to the court. 4.61 is with which I won the medal. And so a sigh of relief, you know, that all right, I was honest, I had really worked hard. And then came the question, what took my independent India over 7 decades to
For the
make
first.
one first female medal?
I'll end there. I'll end there. What an incredible interview. What an incredible story. As they say, bring it on.
Yeah.
Published, now a bestseller. Pick your copy. Deepaji, once again, yes, bring it on. Pick your copy, buy it, because you're not reading Deepa Malik's story. You're reading the story of a new India. A new India that dares to dream, that dares to believe, and dares to accomplish. On World Book Day, ladies and gentlemen, presenting to you one more time, Deepa Malik and Bring It On. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. Thank you so much.